In a world with way too many podcasts comes Jeptalion and this guy, the podcast to end all podcasts. With some pieced together recording equipment, a couple loosely informed topics, and a coin, these three friends set out to forever change the next hour of your life.
Jeptalion and this guy is solely for entertainment purposes. Just Ferrick and Morgan are not professional researchers, investigators, or gynecologists. Not suitable for children.
All right, welcome to Jeptalion and this guy. My name is Joseph.
I'm Morgan.
I'm Eric.
And in this corner, weighing 65 metric tons, he's no slouch, but he can crush a couch. Laffit!
And I'm Laffit.
We got a guest.
Laffit.
Whoop.
Now, Laffit, I don't know if I'm going to be able to remember that name. Can I just call you, can I call you Carol?
How about you just call me Bo? Because that makes perfect sense. I'm from Queens, New York, and you would call me Bo.
Bo's got kind of a racist connotation to it, doesn't it? Isn't it shortened from boy?
One of my old crack dealers said that he could not stand being called Bo by some of his customers because it was from, he's like, man, that's racial, man. That's from like the slave days and stuff. Like
Is
when
it
they
really?
say, but I think Bo is actually what girls used to call their boyfriends. That's my beau.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
Oh,
what it is where I grew up.
Yeah.
Talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
They use the term beau, like the French word,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
a boyfriend. I was confused when I came up here and people would say, I was like, what? You fucking hitting on me or something?
Dude, what the fuck?
I mean, I was just confused, period, when I moved down here. So just fucking go into that. Or you ever hear something, hey, Boba? I'm like, the fuck are you talking about right now?
Before we get too far off the rails, I'll go ahead and explain what we do here for people who haven't listened before. We do we shoot the shit for a little bit, which we popped off a little early on this week. Then we'll flip a coin, and that determines who does our topic. We talk about that for a little bit, and then we wrap this shit up.
Word.
To your mother.
Thanks, Eric.
Yeah, thanks for that, Eric. Now we know.
Now we got a little direction here.
So are we flipping a coin or are we looking to Laffit?
We're not flipping a coin this week. I am a liar.
Well, don't we normally start off with a little story about what's going on with everyone's lives this week?
Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Thanks for keeping us on track.
We just
Laffit.
we just said that.
It'll be all right. Don't worry.
All
Four
right.
people in a room.
I'm gonna leave now.
It's getting a little fucking hectic in here.
All right, how about we start with somebody? Morgan?
Man, I really don't have shit that happened this week. I don't
Okay,
know.
Eric.
We did record. Shut the fuck up. Hey, wait a minute. I do have shit. Nah, I don't have anything.
Really?
Not that I can think of. You guys go. Come back to me.
Okay.
It's like ordering at dinner.
Pass. We'll take a pass.
You guys go first. I'll think of something.
I want to do the movie thing again. I watched a movie called Synchronic last night. Have y'all heard of that?
No. Who's in it?
The dude that plays Falcon.
Oh, yeah.
Falcon.
Anthony Mackie.
Anthony
Anthony
Mackie, yeah,
Mackie.
from 8 Mile. Clarence with really nice parents. He went to private school.
He was in 8 Mile?
Yeah, he was the bad guy in 8 Mile.
Oh, man, I
Like-
saw that movie so long ago.
He was the asshole that Eminem made fun of.
Exactly.
That was a good movie.
Yeah.
It was. Man, I thought Eminem was going to have like an acting career after that.
That was a good. He did a really.
I'm
good
sure he
job.
could have, but
Yeah,
yeah, it's a lot easier to make music and
he's really good at making music.
take pills.
In this movie, somebody develops a drug that messes with a gland in your brain that supposedly you perceive time through. You basically go back in time when you take this drug, but it's random. You go anywhere back in time.
Ooh, like Quantum Leap.
Yeah.
Scott
Yeah.
Bakula.
Yeah.
Like
Ziggy. And it was pretty cool, man. Anthony Mackie's counterpart, I can't think of his name, but he's an actor I've seen in some other stuff. He was in a series where he played a serial killer, and I can't think of the name of that right now either. But they had like a good dynamic, and there's kind of relationship stuff going on, and one guy's like got cancer and is dying from it. So there's all these layers to it, you know. It's kind of an introspective film. It's a cool time travel film too.
nice.
If you haven't seen it, it's on Netflix. Synchronic. Check it out.
Hell yeah.
Shit, that actually sounds pretty interesting. All right, so I started a new job 3 weeks ago.
Told us about it last time you were here.
I was on the show.
Yeah.
I was excited.
Yes, you were.
I feel very different about that now. Okay, so I won't get into specifics just because I still work at the current location. In the 3 weeks I've been there, I've seen nothing but chaos.
Wow.
And it's crazy. Like I was saying before, you would think people with a large amount of money and that have so much of an impact in the city of Columbia, nonetheless, run things smoother.
I won't mention the owner's name because that totally gives it away. But which dealership is it? The Buick?
Mm-hmm. You know, obviously they threw me a lot of money to go there, so I didn't think I'd go there and everything would be running smoothly. When you go there and just see some of the chaos that goes on a daily basis, you just wonder to yourself.
And it's more than your department.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm like, okay, I can handle this. This is all right. When I started at Jones, it was the same thing, just chaos, and I'm just like,
yeah,
this is kind of odd. Like, why would you let things run like this? And I think, like, to me, my problem is I believe that, like, certain things are common sense. And it's like, yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's weird because I kind of go back to what I learned about, like, having resentments for people and be like, why is this guy so fucking stupid? You ever think? And then I'm like, I have a customer who comes in. Yeah, But in order not to have a resentment towards that person, I have to kind of look at it another way and be like, well, maybe he doesn't have an education, or maybe he wasn't offered the same opportunities that I was.
Nice, yeah.
That's how I look at that, so I don't get angry at that person. You know, like, real people don't fucking know what bumper-to-bumper warranty means. I mean, you explain that to someone and they're like, bumper to bumper, or well, front to back, everything inside the fucking car is covered.
Yeah.
And then I just look at them with this face that I have now.
Explain your face.
Mm-hmm.
Laffit's skin tone is slightly bronzed. His jawline is sharp and crisp, as if cut from granite stone. He has a bewildered look on his face, as if he's confused from all the stupidity that surrounds him. But the most amazing feature about Laffit is his eyes. They gently whisper about hope. We may be in a bad situation now, my brothers, but we will rise as if a phoenix from the ashes of your mistakes and come to a greatness you have never known.
You know, and it's just like, okay, so I have to look at it from their point of view. But when it comes to, like, the actual, like, management, you guys are committing serious fraud.
Oh shit.
Like, I can't even tell you. Like, they're just
drop the F-bomb.
Yeah. Like, they're just not doing paperwork well.
Now, do they have an owner that you have strong feelings about that you wanted to mention by name?
Legally, I cannot comment on that. Maybe in a later podcast I will, but so
Just asking.
You're never going to work in this town again.
no, I know, right? You'll never work in this town again, boy. So it's crazy because the reason I went there was to work with this specific service manager, because I'm like, okay, at least I know if I have one person that I feel has a grasp on the situation that I could help him clear all this stuff up, I'll be fine.
Was this the guy that actually did the hiring of you? He hired you.
Yep, yeah.
The hiring of you.
Yep.
Listen to Shakespeare over here.
Exactly.
I bite my thumb at you, good sir.
So last Friday, he takes me out to lunch, and he's like, hey, I got to talk to you. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, I just put in my 2 weeks notice. And I'm like, this is like a fucking sick joke, right? And he's like, no, I'm serious. And then he's like, I quit because of you. And I'm like, what? He's like, I quit because I saw how you handle things and how you stick to a certain set of principles in your life. And I saw myself as someone who lost myself until I saw you and the way you handle certain situations.
Wow.
And
Now, look at you being the light.
I'm just like,
Fucking Jesus.
I know, fucking astonished.
Because you feel like, dude, it's me. I'm just doing what I do.
It is,
Yeah.
but it's also, I'm not going to let anyone treat me like shit.
Yeah.
Dude, I've been through so much worse. Everyone in this room has been through a lot of bad shit in
No
life.
shit, yeah.
So I'm not going to let you treat me like garbage. This is what my schedule is. This is what we agreed upon. And that's it.
Yeah.
So he saw that, and that's what he said to me. He's like, dude, I've been letting these guys just take advantage of me for the past 3 years, and I'm done with it.
Wow.
And he's like,
wow.
I think God put you in my life in order for me to see that.
Oh, shit.
And he's like, thank you. And I'm like, that's cool and all, but like...
I'll take a salad.
yeah. I'm like, so what happens now? And he's like, when you go back to work, they're going to offer you the job.
Oh, shit.
And I'm like, I don't want that fucking job. I don't want to be a slave to some corporation. And so I went back to work. They offered it to me, and I turned it down completely.
Wow.
Yep.
Shit.
And I can tell you it was an extra $50,000.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah. And I was just like, I'm not interested. Because I'm going to have to invest all my time into this place and nothing else.
Yeah.
No, I get that.
Yeah. That extra $50,000 I'm going to get, it's not going to go anywhere. It's just going to go into an account, and I'm never going to use it.
Yeah, that's right. That's why we work, so we can enjoy not working.
Like
They're giving you that money to abuse you, basically.
That's exactly what it is.
Pay
You
off.
know, and it's I said, look, you want me to do some extra things around here to help you out in the transition? I have no problem doing that. My strength is the fact that I know their warranty inside and out. GM,
Yeah, right.
You know.
Oh, yeah.
So that's some of the things that I'm pointing out now and stuff. And just like, this place is in bad shape, and they're like, we know. It's scary when you have, 3 people in a room looking at you like you're the savior, and you're like, I'm not the fucking savior, dude. Like, I'm far from the savior. I can help, but like, I'm not going to sell you on this pipe dream that I'm going to fix this place.
Yeah.
Like that, you
Wow.
know? So it's a lot of like pressure and shit. And I'm like, fuck, I've lost sleep over it. Dude, Monday I was ready to walk out. I walk in, our whole computer system just went down completely. Can't even write up a customer. And then I'm sitting there and I'm like, this is my future right now that I just signed into.
Well, what's nuts is that hurts the corporation so bad to be ran like that. How much more money could they make if it was being done efficiently?
That's what they want from me, you
Yeah.
know? And I'm like, I can't do that on my own because I know what my skills are. And yeah, I walk in Monday and we had to cancel every appointment.
Oh, God.
And I pull this guy to the side and I'm just like, everything in my body right now is telling me to walk away from this job and go home unemployed. And I'm okay with that. I do smart things with my money, and I'm like, I'm okay.
Jesus, man.
So this all happened within like the past 3 weeks. I could tell you, I drove to Hilton Head yesterday, right, to go see Jim, Casey, and them.
Oh, cool. Hell yeah.
And the whole drive there, I'm like in my head thinking about ways I'm gonna fix this, fix that. I haven't had a job consume like my thoughts in a long time and stuff. So I'm like, fuck it. I'm like all of us, like we all have principles in life. You know, you're only willing to go so far for something, and you're like, hey, I got to draw a line here.
3 of us, don't include me. Quit living by principles.
So, you know, I do work with good people. I'm not saying they're bad people. I'm just saying the way things are run is not good right now. Yeah, it's scary. I can honestly tell you that. It's scary because when everyone's looking at you to do something like that, you're like, holy fuck, man, if I fail, you know?
Generally, when someone comes into a system from the outside, an agent of change, there's a science behind this.
No.
Yes, Morgan. Now it's time for Science Guy. All systems fight for homeostasis. They fight for things to be the way they are. Systems in society, systems in our bodies and our cells, they all fight for homeostasis. So when somebody comes in to change stuff, you get pushback. People don't want to change. Change is scary.
Yep.
There's a lot of pressure that goes along with that.
100%. My job was supposed to be just to train the service writers, and that's it. And I'm like, you got to write this here. You got to do this. You got to do that. And then I keep finding myself having to go back and look through their repair order, and I'm like, didn't I just tell you to write that? Oh, I've been doing the same thing for like 7 years. And I'm like, well, you can't do that anymore. This is a legally binding contract between you and a customer.
Listen, Fred, just do it differently, or I'm gonna beat you within an inch of your life. I've got the skill set.
Yeah.
You know, let's just not make this a thing, dude. I want you to live.
I think your family wants you to live as well. You know, think you're a good guy, but you need to do things a certain way, you know?
Just go
Yeah.
total Batman on him.
Yeah, just start
Cripple his
beating
arm.
him. I'm not gonna kill you, but I will maim you.
I was about to say the newer Batman, because that trailer, he beats the living shit out of that. Have you seen the newer Batman trailer?
I haven't seen it in a couple weeks.
God.
Not the newest one. Is there a new one?
No, the one that
Yeah, no, it's been.
just that one alone. I'm like, holy shit!
Yeah.
I can't believe they turned that Twilight guy into fucking badass
It's-
Batman.
yeah.
Oh, is that the one with the Nirvana song playing?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh man, that trailer is badass, dude.
Yeah.
The way they
Fucks
played that
guy
song.
up.
Yeah.
Everything about that trailer, I was like, wow.
I don't know what's up with the eye makeup either, but I was digging it. I guess to make it black around where his mask is. But you know that scene where like it's running down like he's a woman crying in the bathroom.
Not like I've had that experience before, but
I listened to y'all's episode when I wasn't here, so I kicked my masculinity up about 3
oh my
degrees.
god, I
Thank
forgot
you.
about that. Women need to clean the kitchen.
And then you said you used to do dishes at a restaurant, right?
Oh god, I got fired in 4 days.
They hired him to do dishes.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know how to do this. What's going on here?
I ain't got no fucking tits.
I'm sorry, what?
And that is JapTalion13 at gmail.com.
Keep them coming.
Oh god.
So in the end, to end that whole conversation, I'm gonna try my best. I'm gonna do everything I can to change what I have to change. My principles are gonna stay the same way they are.
The only persons whose lives I've changed, it was not for the positive. When they sit me down for a meal and say, "You've changed my life," it's not a good thing.
Oh no! You've changed my life in these ways.
Yeah.
You have to leave immediately.
I'm not buying your meal.
What's been going on with you, Eric?
I did the movie thing.
That was it?
Yeah,
I did the movie thing.
Yeah.
I'm not saying there wasn't enough.
I will say I did watch Mortal Kombat, and we kind of talked about it before the show. There were parts I liked. It was better than the first one, but it was still corny in places for
It
sure.
seems like a terrible idea for a movie. The game itself does not seem like it would lend itself to a good movie.
they attempted to put some storylines in there, but it was a little rough. Yeah,
I
did like when they froze Home Dude's arms off.
Yes.
Spoiler.
I haven't watched the new one, but I watched the first one, and I saw, to me, it was like the first version of Justice League, where they just bring everybody in real quick, and there's a tournament. Hey, let's all fight, with very little storyline to them. I think Mortal Kombat could take a note from the comic book movie universes or whatever, and have a Liu Kang thing or a Johnny Cage thing, and then eventually
So build the character arc. That's what you're talking
right,
about.
Yeah, I think they could do that
Yeah.
because
You mean
there's
like
enough.
do a movie.
There's
Eventually.
enough in the video games that I remember from
do
Johnny
that, yeah.
Johnny Cage being like a broke down actor, you know.
Yeah,
and-
exactly. And that's he's looking for the opportunity to become famous.
Right,
And
and
the
all
tournament's
that.
his way. And,
Yeah.
Yeah, they made it a little different on this one. Not only that, these movies are very hard to follow up when you have Marvel. Yeah. I'm going to be dead honest.
Preach.
Yeah. It's like you have to follow up fucking Thor.
I'm even watching Winter Soldier, or Falcon and Winter Soldier. I forget. There's two of them there. No, I'm watching.
I knew Anthony Mackie before.
No, I'm watching this show, and I'm thinking, and like now I'm thinking back, like how much of this was thought about when they did the Winter Soldier,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And how much of Winter Soldier was thought about when they did the first Captain America? And
It's
how much
insane.
is leading up to this? And what is this leading up to? Because you know it's leading up to some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, did you see the last episode?
Yeah, of course.
Oh,
Come
yeah.
on. We watched that.
Yeah.
Dude, when I texted you, we were watching it.
Again, to have to follow that up, whoever's writing those fucking movies, like,
And Eric brought that up the other week. We were
Bravo.
talking about the Godzilla movies, and Eric brought up how, Marvel just had everything kind of fall into their laps, or they just did it 100% correct from the casting to the writing to the order of production. Everything went just perfectly, you know. Is
But I do like DC's plan now. They make a movie and it sucks, and then they just redo it immediately. You know?
And add 2.5 hours of footage to it and just kill it. They did it awesome. I mean,
it was it was badass.
fucking amazing.
So
I mean,
bad. At the end when he's like, I will fucking kill you.
Yeah.
dude. I mean, just the Joker alone sitting there, looking like he did. You're like, what is going on here right now? And you just question, like, how could the first one be so bad?
It was so
That was the most
compared to
disappointing
that.
part to me, the very end, knowing that we probably will never see the world that he had in mind.
Well, that's what they're kind of pushing for right now, too. The Snyderverse, basically, they're calling it or whatever. But it's like,
nice.
Because he had some plans,
he had some
man.
really big plans. I mean, just seeing Darkseid alone in that, you're like, wait a minute.
I know. It was kind of like when Thanos was looking through in Avengers, you know, through the wormhole and shit. Hey, Joseph.
Hey,
Shit, sorry, man. Lost you in all that nerd talk.
We're nerding out over here.
How was your week, Joseph?
not much happened.
I watched a cartoon.
Yeah, not much happened.
I did have
I'm sorry. I'm just listening to y'all, but I don't know what the hell you're talking about, really, because I don't really watch a lot of movies lately.
all right.
You did see that Bob Odenkirk movie that we just talked about.
Wait
I
a
wanna
minute.
see
How was that? Is that the one where he's like a
Nobody.
badass in that?
What the fuck you talking about?
Nobody.
Oh, Nobody. Yeah.
How was
I
that?
saw
Yeah.
It was all right. It was kind of
It's kind of weird. Saul as like a badass.
on a big screen. The action was cool.
You went to the movie theater to see it.
Yeah, I kept getting hung up on some of the stuff because I couldn't get a gauge on whether this was supposed to be like a serious, like horrifying type violence movie or if it was supposed to be humor. You know,
You have a hard time mixing those like serious and humor
I just
genres.
want it to be one way or the other. You know, I don't like I didn't watch like Platoon and then think it was funny. You know. But some people watch like Pulp Fiction, thought Pulp Fiction was funny. I didn't think the movie was funny.
There
was tragic.
Definitely
Some funny
funny
parts,
parts in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
The
That movie-
Royale with cheese.
That
Stuck
movie
a
was fucking
Watch
tragic,
up his
dude.
ass.
Like, dude, like one dude gets raped. Like people are overdosing on drugs. A bunch of people get murdered. That's a really serious movie.
Yeah, and there's funny parts.
Oh, and I did the same thing when I was watching Nobody. These dudes are getting fucking crippled, and I'm like, Jesus, you know, calm the fuck down. I mean, the guys they're being assholes, but is it necessary to fucking hospitalize them? I don't know.
Destroy their whole
Got a
family.
family to feed.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, they might have people who are depending on them bringing home food and money, or at least coming home tonight.
I never thought like that until you explained that to me, and now every time I'm watching a movie with Batman, just blow up cars for the fun of it. I'm like, what the fuck, Batman? Intimidate mode so you blow up somebody's Lexus? What the fuck?
I'd be fucking pissed if he blew up my bike or
Just
my
to
truck.
intimidate some criminals
That's
that he
the
could
shit.
just go beat the shit out of. Don't now destroy my property.
That's the shit that was, to me, the first movie I remember bringing up stuff like that was The Incredibles. You know, they destroyed a bunch of stuff, and he saved that guy's life that was trying to kill himself, right? And then the guy sued.
Oh
The
yeah, that was part
Incredibles
of the
for-
storyline of
Yeah,
the
he
Incredibles.
sued The Incredibles. He's like, I was trying to kill myself, and he kept me alive, and whatever, you know. And so
Oh, shit,
that's
I've
where
never seen that.
you've never seen
No,
it.
yeah.
Oh wow, yeah. Incredibles is a great movie.
So they put that in the Marvel in the Marvel universe, and I
Right.
didn't like that because Tony
With
just kind of
Sokovia.
Civil War.
Tony kind of caved to that lady, and I get her son died, and it's sad, but they saved the. Would you rather them have not showed up? Like, I didn't like that they showed it way more negative than positive, like they were bad guys, and it's like they were saving the fucking world from a evil robot
That's-
that they created.
that's
But
what the
come
fuck
on,
would
that's
happen.
fair, right? We all create evil robots sometimes.
Yeah,
Elon Musk.
that's what happens when you create monsters.
Well, that's what, and also on
Elon.
Spider-Man: Homecoming, you know, Michael Keaton's character was pissed off because Tony Stark. Well, the Avengers made this big mess in New York, and now Tony Stark's getting paid to fucking clean it up.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
That's how real life is. Think about all those scenarios. That's why they're putting it in. My son died. We just saved the fucking world, lady.
yeah.
I'm sorry about your 18-year-old journalist son. fuck that
Right.
guy. I think we all are happy that the world is still moving.
You're alive though, right?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Just wanted to be sure. But that's exactly what everything is right now. Like everyone's either offended or mad about something, and this and that, and or vent it out to me at my fucking job.
Or we could vent it on a podcast.
Yeah. Oh, exactly.
Joseph and I like to bicker to get rid of our frustration.
Like a couple of old ladies.
Yeah, like a couple of old fucking hens.
Morgan changes the subject in 3, 2, 1.
So Nathan and Landon had first communion this weekend.
How was that?
I saw your freak
I
out
saw a couple
pictures.
pictures.
Did you see the pictures
Yeah.
of Landon? Could you see
Yeah,
him? Like
yeah.
kind of, yeah. Landon, I could tell because he was getting quiet and he was staying in his seat. You know, in Catholic churches, you sit down, you stand up, you kneel, you stand, you sit, you kneel, and stand again. Landon just stayed sitting. And so for some reason or another, his mom was sitting by him. And I was like, hey, why don't you switch with me and let me sit by the kids? And I talked to him and I was trying to get him to stand up at parts and kneel when he was supposed to, and he wouldn't do it. For those of you that don't know, Landon's got a little bit of autism. He's on the spectrum, and it definitely showed because when it came time, him and Nathan were the only family that had 2 people receiving first communion. So Nathan gets up and he walks out and he's like, okay, I need to stand right here. And he's looking over in one of the pictures too. You can see him like looking like, okay, this isn't going to happen with Landon. But Nathan's standing there and doing what he's supposed to do. And Landon's like turning the other way. He's fighting to turn. The lady's like reaching in. She's like, come on, you got to go. Hey, you got to go. And I just was like, hey, leave him. She said, okay. But Landon stayed freaking out and he wanted to go home with his mom afterwards. And I talked to him a little bit and he ended up saying that, you know, I asked him if it was because everybody was watching and he was like, yeah, everybody's like looking. That's always been Landon. You know, that's his thing. He does all this crazy stuff and he's like really energetic and until he knows people are watching, and then it boom, shut down and freak out, which he wasn't screaming. Had I pushed him out into the aisle, he would have been screaming.
Yeah.
Had I been like, no, you got to do this. But I'll be honest, I think because it was kind of embarrassing, I was mad. Told him I was disappointed in him, and then I apologized for it. And he ended up being like, yeah, I'll stay with you. One of the ladies ended up coming up to me and being like, hey, he can do it anytime. He doesn't need to do it now, whatever. And that made me feel better.
Yeah.
You know. Anyways, first communion. Yay.
Dude, when we shot that commercial that'll be released next
Yeah.
for the show that your kids were a part of, I asked Landon, or you asked Landon if he wanted to be a part of it. And he said no. He was in that corner where the chair and the mic was.
Right.
I don't know if you heard him. I could hear him because he was being kind of quiet. He goes, I'm going to do my own podcast, and y'all can't listen because it's for adults.
Oh, my God.
This shit was hilarious, dude. I love that your kids were a part of that, man. That gives you, like, the Dad of the Year award, in my opinion.
Oh, shit.
If
You
I
hear
was
that,
a kid, I
Joseph?
would have loved that.
Yeah, I heard that.
I get a mug. I get a mug that says Father of the Year.
You should ask your older son if he wants to come on sometime.
That'd be
Might
fun.
be fun. Or it might ruin your safe space.
Maybe.
Oh, God.
I don't know if he'd want to. He went out with his friends last night. I was at a meeting. He called me. He was just calling to tell me that he's going to go out with his friends.
Shit.
Him and like 4 of his friends, you know, all teenage boys, just went out on a Saturday night.
Put down the Xbox controller.
I know.
You
I
were
was
like the happiest dad ever.
I was so happy about it, you know. And then he called me. He was like, "I'm going to stay the night at my friend's house." I'm like, "Oh yeah."
Too drunk to come home.
I didn't ask, man.
Nice.
Dude,
You know?
you would probably get him like a gift if he went out and vandalized a building.
That was a great job.
Yeah.
No,
Awesome.
I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't. I can't do that. I just want him to go out and have adventures because that's.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we do as men.
Right.
Like when we're trying to become men, we go and we push the limits. You know, we do reckless, dangerous shit.
Aw.
And that's like a thing that's like highly discouraged in today's
Shit,
culture is
Like-
risk taking.
When I was a teenager, I had an easy bake oven and I cooked it not following directions, right?
I'm sorry, you had an easy bake oven?
I'm joking. I was raised by a female with no males in the house. So when y'all were having that episode when you were on last, I was like,
shit, I have nothing to contribute to this.
yeah, if I'm not there, they just take this in a totally different direction. But no, I never had an easy bake oven. I was just being stupid.
I'm looking at him. I'm like, is he gonna say he's cooking meth in that? Yeah. Because if he's saying that, I was like, I'm all for it. You know, okay. I was like,
I looked at Laffit and he was kind of confused. Like, where are you going with this, man?
what are you doing, man? I don't understand. But just think about it in this sense, exactly what he was saying. When we were younger, it's like you went out and did some just fucking random shit. When I walked in here, I didn't know either to shake his hand or fist bump him because of times now.
Oh yeah.
Think about that. You don't even know if you could shake anyone's hand anymore right now.
Yeah.
That's how much different life is right now than we were kids. Like you wouldn't even fucking wash your fucking hands. When you're like 8, you're like, let me touch this, that, and that. And now I'm gonna grab my face and.
Okay, Laffit did not have a Japanese grandmother. I totally washed my hands every time I came in the house.
I don't wash dishes and I don't wash hands.
Yeah, it's hard for me to wash hands too. That's never been a practice of mine. I wash them in my urine stream sometimes. Just get all that gunk out of my fingernails.
That old antibacterial. Well, Laffit, you came over to my house and you stayed with me last summer, and you do wash dishes. I've seen it. Yeah. You actually will eat and immediately wash your dishes so that you don't have to fuck with it later.
Exactly.
Now, he won't wash any other dishes, but he will definitely wash the ones he used.
Well, Morgan ate off that one, so that motherfucker can go wash that shit. But I'll tell you what, I'm cleaning that fork I used.
Matter of fact, this plate's in the way. I'm just going to throw it in the trash. Yeah. Fuck that guy.
By the way, Morgan, Mom still have those cupcakes in the fridge? Remember that?
He ate the last one of my mom's cupcakes while I was in bed.
I think I texted you the next morning on my way to work.
You're like, I'm sorry, man.
I'm really sorry. I had a weak moment. And it was 2 a.m.
Are her cupcakes as good as her cookies?
Dude, those fucking cupcakes.
They had like pineapple.
They were the best fucking carrot cake cupcakes
that's
ever.
Insane.
Ever.
Wow. Yeah. That sounds really good.
Yeah. And here I am, a guy who doesn't eat a lot of stuff like that. And I'm just like...
You ate a bunch of it, though.
Like
she had 2 trays.
Yeah, she had
2 trays of cupcakes.
And he's like, go ahead, eat them. I was like, no, I don't eat that stuff.
Then that wasn't like he just ate the last one and texted me the next day. But there were a couple of other nights where he'd text me at like, 11:30 or something. Be like, hey, man, you care if I get one of those cupcakes?
The polite way to do things.
Well, damn. That was enough catching up.
Is that our show? No.
Yeah.
Thanks for stopping by.
So we're going to do like coin flip, and then come back with a topic. I'm saying we take a break. Is that a good idea?
Let's do it.
Okay. Well, let's take a break.
Right. This Sunday night on pay-per-view. Oh my God! Oh my God! He wins! He wins! No daddy's got the belt! The tension has been building for months.
So, Hispanic Titanic, are you nervous about getting in the steel cage with Mo Daddy Dollar?
Nervous? Nah, you should be nervous for asking me such a stupid question. His mom should be nervous for the coma I'm gonna put him in. The crowd should be nervous for all the blood that's gonna splatter on their clothes. I'm not nervous. I don't know how to be nervous. I'm not some bitch-ass pussy that shakes in their wrestling boots.
No, sir, you are not. But we've all seen the devastation he causes in the ring.
Oh, you're gonna see the devastation I cause outside the ring if you talk to me like that again. For the first time in decades, a no-holds-barred match. Last man standing.
Who? Man, this motherfucker must have just come out the minor leagues. Hey, you with the big dogs now. You better do more than bark, motherfucker.
Mo Daddy Dollar.
I got more money than Vince McMahon. In fact, that dude's my biggest fan. I got $100 bills falling out my butt crack. I ain't nothing to be fucking snuffed at.
Hispanic Titanic. Fuck that crackhead and his corny little raps. I'm gonna shove that microphone up his ass and see what he wants to rap about then. The pay-per-view event of the century. Pre-order now at ElonIsAskingForMoneyAgain.com.
Okay, and we're back.
Hey,
And we're going to have Laffit.
Laffit.
Heat case Laffit.
Yeah. Oh my God. Laffit, you got a heat case online too.
Should we all come up with wrestler names for this before we get started?
Oh God.
No?
No, let's not do that.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I immediately started trying to think of something.
maybe by the end we'll come up with something.
Okay, there you go. There's
But
a goal.
Laffit's coming in here, and he brought a topic with him, and we're going to listen politely.
All right. So I am a huge wrestling fan. The reason I started watching professional wrestling is I had 3 older sisters, and a bunch of my cousins used to live like a couple blocks away from us. And I think the first thing they made me watch was WrestleMania 6. And it was
Holy
Hulk
shit.
Hogan versus the Ultimate Warrior.
Oh, the Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah, so
oh my
it's like
God.
the most epic showdown of like all time at this point, and this is like 1990, I think. I thought it was the coolest fucking thing ever. You
Yeah.
know, the Ultimate Warrior comes out with all the face paint and shit, and Hulk Hogan's like fucking Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
I mean,
Hey, brother.
exactly. Eat your vitamins, say your prayers. And all
I
that shit.
27-inch pythons.
Exactly. I mean, come on, dude. To me, I was like, this is so much fun. Again, my dad's Mexican, so I went to Mexico like maybe like 6-7 months later. And I actually
shit.
talked about that in the last podcast, you
yeah.
know. And we went and they got the fucking masks and all this
Oh,
shit. And I
shit,
just
yeah.
I just thought it was the coolest thing. And growing up, that's what I wanted. That's why I do jujitsu.
Oh.
Because I wanted to be a professional wrestler, but I'm 5'6". It wasn't gonna happen.
Aw.
Yeah. And
I
so
don't know. Rey Mysterio? How tall is Rey Mysterio?
yeah. Well, that was already. I was already in my late 20s at that point.
Okay,
I'm like,
all
okay,
right.
well, I guess I ruined this one. So I guess I could have done it. You know, who the fuck knows? I remember watching that and like the theatrics and everything of it, and I was just enamored with it.
Yeah.
And me and my brother, our favorite wrestler, and it wasn't at that point. It was like till I got older. But Bret Hart was my favorite wrestler.
Wow.
Everything the guy did. Told the story, and he was always the good guy, and yeah. So they used to do these interviews with him, and no, that's not his story. I'm thinking of someone else's. So he grew up. I'm thinking of Mick Foley. That's what I'm thinking
okay,
of. Mick Foley
okay.
tells the same story every time, and he talks about he's from Long Island. That's where I'm from. And he talks about how when they used to play Cowboys and Indians, he was always the Indian because he always wanted to be the good guy and shit. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, it's fucking hilarious. Yeah,
Man,
so.
I used to have these 2 neighbors that were around my age, and they would make me watch wrestling. I haven't thought about this in years, and I'd be like, "Who wants to play house?" Oh yes, Eric got bullied as a child. I grew, growing up with a mom, like I just picked up on mom things because
Yeah.
it wasn't like a dad around. And thinking back now, like with this conversation, they were probably like, "How the fuck are we hanging out with this guy?" But yeah, I
Shit,
saw
yeah.
some of that old stuff, man.
My brother's 3 years younger than me, so all we would do is practice wrestling moves on each other and shit, and get in
Yeah.
trouble in the house for fighting and
The
fucking-
sharpshooter.
Yeah,
did you
oh my
guys-
god, my brother would make up moves. He'd make them up, and then he'd come in and be like, "Let me try this one on you." Like, you heard of the figure 4? And I swear to fucking God, this is the Zap 4. And I'm like, okay, let's try it out. I'm like, oh, that fucking hurts. I don't like that. And,
He broke my neck.
yeah, and we'd practice all these moves on each other, and then it'd be you know the meme when you're just like, shh, don't say nothing, mom's coming, because you just beat the shit out of him. Yeah, I don't know how many moments there were like that. My brother would be like,
You know, so the figure 4, speaking of that, was one of the ones that my brothers first put on me, and I guess we were doing them wrong. We were being little bitches to each other
Yeah.
because it didn't hurt. And then when I got in high school and started watching wrestling again, somebody put me in a Boston Crab. And
hurts like
Boston, when you look at a Boston Crab, it's like, that doesn't look bad. He's just bending back 2 legs. No,
I
man, it was like
definitely-
ripping my abdomen. It was fucking
and
painful.
also your lower spine.
And it was instantly.
I
Yeah.
definitely know what that move is, and I've seen it hundreds of
That
times.
shit hurt.
Bro, can I say tell you? We used to beat the shit out of my friends' little brothers all the time, and we'd put them in all these wrestling moves, and that's how I'd work on my wrestling moves. And like, I'd put them in the walls of Jericho and all
Oh,
this shit.
shit, yeah.
And I'll tell you a quick fucked up story. All right. I lived in the hood basically. So it's fucking. I'd walk around and I don't look super Hispanic, but I am.
Hey, yous guys, look over there. It's Super Hispanic Man from Queens.
But when I'd go through the neighborhood, they'd be like, "Hey, white boy," and I'd be like, "Motherfucker, fuck you! I'm not fucking white. Like I'm fucking Mexican." And they're like, "No, the fuck you're not. Shut up, white boy."
Oh shit!
Damn.
So
What do
I'd
you
go
say to that?
Yeah, exactly.
Mexican
I don't know, what am I supposed to pull out some fucking type of ID to prove it or something? No,
You need to
there's-
start wearing like a sombrero.
Yeah, exactly. See, I got the sombrero on today.
It's got tortilla chips in it.
Chinga tu madre.
Exactly, right? Start talking with an accent or some shit. So,
Hey, man.
Oh God, what are we doing? Sorry.
This is awful.
oh man. So I'm walking down the block, and my buddy. It's funny. He's just about as tall as I am, 5'6", wants to be a pro wrestler. Same shit. We used to do all the backyard wrestling stuff. He's beating up on this little kid, and I'm like, man, leave this fucking little kid alone. He ain't
Yeah.
done shit. Little kid turns around, spits in my face.
Nice.
Now I was like, fuck this little kid. So I kick him in the stomach. And literally, I'm not even joking you. This kid's probably like fucking 12 years old and I'm like 17. Right, kick him in the stomach and I look to my left and there is a fucking old refrigerator just laying on the side. You know, long ways, right?
Yeah.
Pick him up and I hit the razor's edge on him. On the fridge. Not joking with you. You can tell by my face.
Give me a description of that.
of the sound.
Of the
Oh,
razor's edge.
So you lift him up. So his back's on my back. I lift him up by his arms and then just drop him forward.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
So yeah. So
That's like a form of suplex, right? That's like
No, it's just like a full drop. Yeah, yeah.
So, they're just
all you see is
dropping
the
from like 5 or 6
Yep,
feet in the
and
air.
he's landing back down on the fucking fridge, hitting his head, everything, and I'm just like,
God.
fuck you little fucker.
Did you train Batman?
and I'm just like, next time you won't spit in my fucking face.
Yeah.
So this is not the end of the story. Okay.
That wasn't enough?
No, it wasn't. So maybe like 20 minutes later, this big old black lady with a machete's walking down the block.
What the fuck?
And I'm like, what the fuck is this? And she's like, who the fuck is Laffit? And I'm like,
that guy.
I'm like, that is me. Why? She's like, did you beat the shit out of my son? This, that, starts going off all this shit. I go, yeah. And I said, you want to know why? I said, because I tried to help him because my bitch ass friend was beating him up and your son spit in my face. You do whatever you got to do. She turns around. All you hear is. She starts beating the shit out of her kid in front of me. And
Chops
I'm just
him
like,
up with a
yeah,
machete.
exactly. She just fucking whoops his ass. Like, and I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna go back to doing what I'm doing. She's like, I'm so sorry he spit in your face. And I'm like, look, I'm just sorry this whole fucking thing happened. I mean, I don't know what the fuck goes on at your house, but you just came outside of your house with a machete to fucking come attack me. Like, do you realize the significance of what happened here today?
It's so difficult to get a gun in New York.
Yeah, exactly, right? So yeah, wrestling was like the center of like everything I did when I was younger and stuff like
Nice.
that. You know,
Hell
and,
yeah.
and Bret Hart was one of my favorite people. Again, one of the top guys. I think he was one of the guys that basically came from a family of like, I don't know.
They were like the fucking wrestling royalty of Canada.
Exactly. You know, Stu Hart was the father.
Right.
I'm trying to see how many brothers
yeah.
he had.
Yeah, they were like a
Okay.
wrestling family.
So
Yeah.
Bret Hart was Canadian?
Yeah,
Yes,
absolutely.
yeah.
Calgary,
I'm not
Alberta,
familiar.
Canada.
I'm not familiar with Bret Hart.
Dude, funny note here. His middle name's Sergeant.
You knew he was gonna be a badass.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's hilarious because born in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, in 1957. That it's funny because he was the guy who took over after that whole Hulk Hogan era ended. He had such a big influence on everything, great storyteller, and you would believe that this guy was getting hurt in the ring, and his big claim to fame is not once did he ever hurt anyone while he was wrestling.
Yeah. He's like the only wrestler.
The only wrestler, yeah. Because I just watched a podcast because I knew we were going to do this.
Yeah.
So he did a podcast with Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Oh, badass.
Yeah, exactly. So I watched that one and I listened to it, and he's talking to Stone Cold, and Stone Cold is telling him, if it wasn't for you, there would be no Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Shit.
Wow.
And just think
that's
about
humbling.
that. The sad part is his career ended by getting hurt by someone else. Bill Goldberg sidekicked him to the head the wrong way. He had a concussion.
No shit.
Yeah.
I did
Is there
not
a
know
right
that.
way to sidekick someone to the head?
Well, in wrestling.
There is. It's an art. That's what that's the thing he used to pride himself on. Like, he'd make the punches look real and he'd make everything look real. I mean, when we were all younger, we thought it was real. You know?
Yeah. I was gonna say when I was a kid, and I used to watch it. So Jake the Snake, Hogan, and Sergeant Slaughter, all those guys were big. And Jake the Snake would bring his snake out and be biting people. There'd be blood everywhere and shit.
Dude.
My friends would be like, "Oh my God, he's got the snake! They're biting!" And I'd be like, "Guys, I mean, he's not really biting them. Come on, guys." Because I'm using like common sense. Like, they're not just gonna allow a snake to be biting people. But my friends were really into it. And they're like, "You're wrong. Why is there blood?"
Dude.
but that's what kids. That's how we look at it.
But that segment was real. Yeah,
that shit was real.
Yes.
Yeah, that was real blood and stuff.
So Jake the Snake. We're probably going to go off into 30 tangents on this podcast, so please just stay with us.
Yeah.
So Jake the Snake talks about it, and he's like, they devenomized the snake, and Macho Man was the one who was pushing.
That's who it
Macho
was,
Man was like, fucking do it, bro. Tie me up in the ropes and let the cobra fucking bite me. And he's like, are you out of your fucking mind? And they're in the back.
He was totally out of his mind.
Yeah, on cocaine and whatever other product
Cocaine
was
and
running
steroids
around
and
fucking at that point.
Oh,
and then,
yeah.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And he talks about before it happened, he goes, I want the snake to bite you first. I don't think you devenomize the snake, and I think you're trying to kill me.
Damn.
Yeah. And he's like, what the fuck? He's like, all right. And fucking puts the thing on his arm, lets it bite him and shit. And he's like, okay, brother, let's fucking do it. Wow. God. Dude, these guys you just got to think about, like, what mindset these guys had back then.
Brother, tie me up with a Slim Jim, brother. Oh, yeah.
Just think about that. Go on the road 300 days out of the year.
Jesus.
I listened to the Undertaker talk about that shit on the podcast he was on. Yeah. What the fuck?
They gave up basically their whole lives. You went up to them and be like, oh, that shit's fake.
Yeah.
They'd fuck you up.
Yeah.
They'd fuck you up.
Oh,
like,
man.
Literally.
I have seen video of, what's that guy's name? John Stossel.
Getting bitch smacked.
Oh, did you show that to
Yeah,
me?
I did.
Yeah.
Man.
I've seen that.
And then there was the one of the guy that used to be on Law and Order.
Boom, boom, boom.
Dum, dum.
Oh, he gets choked out by Hulk Hogan.
Hogan choked him out and dropped him and busted his fucking head open and shit. Like, he used to have a talk show, I guess, like a late night show or something.
God, I can't remember his fucking name right now, but you're right. You're
Hogan's
100%.
like, yeah, I can't remember his name either, but Hogan's like, come here, I'm gonna put this little thing on you, and he's out.
him.
Dude's like,
And Mr.
and
T
Hogan
was
just
there with
drops him. Yeah, that's right. Mr. T was there.
They're
Yeah.
pushing WrestleMania and shit. Busts his fucking head open.
And he gets up, but he gets up and he's like, oh, ah. He looked like he was having a seizure when he got up, but he was like, that was great. We'll be back right after this. And he's like pulling blood away from his head and shit, man.
The show must go on.
But the funny part about that is, and you've seen those Dark Side of the Rings, right?
Yeah, I've
so
watched
the
a
one
few
where
of
the
them.
guy who bitch smacked John Stossel, he got fired. Hulk Hogan didn't get fired.
Yeah, but Hulk
Hulk
Hogan
Hogan was Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
That's why. It's like, that's a fucking big
And the
name.
other
Just
dude
paid
wasn't a big name.
And even in the episode, he says, Vince told me to do it and this and that. And then when everything went down, he was like, I never told him to do that.
Wow.
You're not supposed to say Vince told you to do it.
Yeah, no. You're just supposed to say, no, he deserved it. And that's it. And that's funny because that will bring you into the Bret Hart story. So Bret Hart was there for so long in WWE. I guess we were all teenagers at that point, and then WCW started coming up. Monday Nitro started happening, and
Yeah.
the NWO
Shit
and
got
everything
big,
like this.
yeah.
And Vince was like trying to sign Bret Hart to this big contract. WCW is trying to offer him this money, and all this stuff is going on. And he signs Bret Hart to like a 20-year contract, which was like unheard of at that point.
Jesus.
this all goes down, and Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels at this point are like the two top guys.
Heartbreak Kid.
Yeah, exactly. And it gets to a point where WWF was losing so much money and WCW was making so much money that Vince goes up to Bret and he tells him, I cannot afford to pay you anymore. I need you to leave. I can't honor the contract. And basically, it's him choosing Shawn Michaels over Bret Hart.
Yeah. That was the fight, too, right? Shawn Michaels versus Bret Hart.
That's where the setup was. Turns into this thing where he's like, I am going to negotiate your contract for you to go to WCW. And he's like, I don't want to leave. He's like, this is where I want to work. This is where I work forever. And he's like, dude, I just can't pay you. It's either you could stay here and I'm going to have you lose to Shawn Michaels like 40 times in a row.
Wow.
Yeah, and he just doesn't have an answer for it. And he's like, fine, let me negotiate this contract. This whole time, Bret Hart's like the WWF champion.
Yeah.
So he negotiates the contract with him. And he says even while he was signing the contract, he called back Vince and he's like, are you sure there's nothing you can do? And it's like, no, you got to go. That's it. This is the way we're going. And this is what we got to do. He negotiates like one of the biggest deals in like history for him. And this is called the Montreal Screwjob. Yeah. Yep. And this is like infamous in wrestling. If you're a wrestling fan, this is like,
Heartbreak Kid from Canada too?
No, he's from Texas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So what happens is they're supposed to have this big match at the Survivor Series 1997, and they want Shawn Michaels to win the belt from Bret Hart. At this point, Bret Hart has creative control. Disclaimer for anyone else listening to this: they're not really champions.
They're I mean they're predetermined
exactly.
matches.
They're just performers, okay? And Bret Hart refuses to lose the belt.
Right.
And he says, I'm not going to lose the belt to him, not in Canada. And the match is in Canada nonetheless. Montreal, Canada. So it's this big fucking deal to him. He's like, the whole thing about Bret Hart is like, he's like, I'll fucking lose to him tomorrow night on Monday Night Raw if you want, but I will not do it at this show on this night. And so what ends up happening is that they set up the whole match to where his finisher was the sharpshooter, right? Mm-hmm. So,
Oh, that's right.
So Shawn Michaels puts Bret Hart in the sharpshooter.
Yeah.
And he's supposed to reverse it.
Yeah.
And put it on him. So instead, Vince McMahon was on the outside of the ring and he had the referee and his, obviously he's his boss. And Shawn Michaels puts a sharpshooter on Bret Hart and he makes him ring the bell right away.
Yep.
Wow.
And he didn't even put it on right.
No, he fucked up. Bret
Hart fixed it while he was on the ground being put in it.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, McMahon is a cunt.
He is. Yeah, dude.
He's pretty big.
I mean, so just think about this. If he leaves with that belt and goes to your competition on television, what does that say about your product? So it's this whole big deal. I remember me and my brother watching it live and we're like, what the fuck just happened?
The Montreal Screwjob.
Doesn't Morgan sound like Kermit the Frog here?
The Montreal Screwjob got people to change the channel back over to Monday Night Raw instead of Monday Nitro.
It changed the whole dynamic, everything, because Vince McMahon, I remember I'd watch it and he'd be the announcer, right? Fucking shittiest announcer ever. I'd always do, because he'd do
it was a long time ago.
Yeah, he did, like, people would cover him for the pinfall and he'd go, 1, 2, 3, yes, no, he kicked out. Why do they let this guy announce this? He's fucking terrible. And then I remember one day someone tells me like he's the owner. I was like, shit, he's the owner of it? And then more and more and more, as we grew up, the internet comes out and you just start to find out the secrets of wrestling and what goes on and this and that. That whole thing created the Vince McMahon character as a bad guy. Oh, so the match ends, and you got to tell this part of the story too. Bret Hart knew he got screwed over.
Right.
Stands up and he just spits right in Vince McMahon's face.
Yeah.
In front of everyone. Like, dude.
Good
huge,
for him.
Huge old loogie. Yeah.
Yeah, it was gross.
Which is funny because I just told you that story about a kid spitting in my face.
Vince McMahon did not do anything.
Exactly.
He didn't kick the shit out of a 12-year-old.
Bret Hart's mom did not come out with a machete. So he spits in his face. And Bret Hart starts to destroy every monitor at ringside. And he goes like ape shit. And they go backstage, and he's looking for Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon's locked up in his office. He goes to his room, and they had it's so weird because they had this documentary crew following around Bret Hart at this time for a documentary he was doing, and it just happened to be that everything happened at this time.
Yeah,
it's called Wrestling with Shadows.
Damn.
He goes to take a shower, and then Vince McMahon shows up, and Bret Hart just tells him, he's like, if you don't get the fuck out of my locker room, I'm going to knock you out when I come out. And so it's like Shane McMahon, Vince, these two other old school wrestling guys. Bret Hart comes out the shower and he's like, I came out of there buck naked. And he's like, and I'm thinking to myself in my head, he's like, am I going to punch Vince McMahon buck naked? He's like, no, I'm not going to hit him buck naked. That'd just be an odd story to tell my children.
There I was, my dick hanging out.
Exactly. Yeah, he's like, just think about that scene in your head.
Testicles flying all over the place.
Exactly. So he's like, basically, he's putting on his clothes and everything, and he's like, he says, I'm going to tie my last shoelace. And he's like, this is really going to happen. I'm going to punch him straight in his face. It's so funny. He tells a story. He says it every time. It was a Mike Tyson-like uppercut. And he's like, and I punched him so hard he flew off his feet. Fell down to the ground and knocked him out. And he punches him dead in his face.
Yeah.
Fucking knocks him out. You know, they take him out of the locker room. Vince has a black eye, all this shit. And the next night, Bret Hart shows up on WCW.
He was on
television,
Nitro, yeah.
right?
I remember that.
Okay. The week after, Vince shows up on Raw. And this is how they create the whole Vince McMahon character of being a bad guy. And he does the Bret screwed Bret, and he starts to go into this whole thing about how he didn't do anything wrong. And this sets up him being a bad guy, sets up Stone Cold Steve Austin, and then it sets up everything for the WWF taking over and WCW just losing everything.
Yeah.
Well,
it
to
did.
be fair, Vince McMahon's a fucking bad guy in real life too.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
I'm
the
sure
guy's-
he's a
yeah.
fucking shithead, yeah.
Yeah, he's fucked a lot of people over. I watched like a documentary about all the disgruntled people and just the way they have to torture their bodies and they don't get paid properly. Like people think, oh shit, they make a lot of money, but for what they do,
They don't have insurance.
they traveled 300 days a year. I didn't know that. That in and of itself is like you own me. That you own
Which is what
every
we were
day
talking
of
about
my
before.
year.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's just insane that they pay for their own travel. This was all old
Oh,
school
what?
shit. Yeah.
Oh, they do? Oh,
nuts.
shit.
Back in the day, you used to have to pay for your travel.
God.
You had no insurance. Just think you pay for the
man.
hotels and all that stuff. And like in your head, you're like, they make so much money. Back then, they weren't really making that much money. Now it's
Jesus.
totally different. You're making some money. You're got insurance now that covers you. They got concussion protocol. If you're a fucking drug addict, like they help you out. They want to take care of you. And it's all because of now everything's out in the open now.
Yeah.
It's crazy. He, for a long time, like said he wouldn't come back to the WWF. Sadly enough, he came back and he fought Vince McMahon at WrestleMania like 26.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Who won?
Yeah. Oh, come on. He puts him in the sharpshooter and they ring the bell. It's fucking hilarious. You know? Yeah.
No shit. Nice.
Yeah.
The funniest wrestling thing I've seen, my brother sent me. It was like a Reddit of someone in the audience yelling, "Grab his dick and twist! Do the old dick twist!" And he just keeps repeating it like that's a move.
Oh, bro, I'm not even gonna lie. That actually is a move.
Oh shit!
Yeah, there's a weirdo, and like independent wrestling that does that move.
Maybe
I'm not even joking with
The
you
old
right now.
dick
The old
twist.
dick twist. Got him.
Maybe that's the match this guy was at. I thought he was just being an asshole, like drunk, you know? Give him the old dick twist.
So I remember, like I said, I watched it as a kid with my buddies, and then I kind of fell off from wrestling. And what brought me back into wrestling, hanging out with the people I did in high school, we watched Monday Nitro. We watched WCW. There was the NWO Red and Black. There was the NWO Wolfpack, the Black. Yeah, I mean, Black and White, whatever. So there were a lot of wrestlers that I recognized in WCW. And didn't even pay attention to the WWF, what it was at the time. And then when Bret Hart came over, I didn't even know who he was.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Well, because he was over there, and I hadn't
You're
watched it in a few years. You know, it'd been a while. So I didn't know who he was. But then the whole story came, and then I found myself flipping back and forth from Nitro to Raw. And WWE, when they took the F out and got the E in there, because that was their big slogan, like, get the F out. So once they started taking back over, I mean, it shut WCW down quick. It happened over like a year, maybe 2 years. It happened like that.
I think they bought it for like $2 million.
And then they bought it. Yep. And then they had the big WCW versus WWE for belts and stuff, title holders, Goldberg, all that shit.
Just think about
Booker
that.
T.
Yeah, Booker T coming out. Remember, I just remember even being in high school, fucking coming to school, and Tuesday, everyone would be like, did you watch Nitro last night? Did you see this? Did you see that? You fucking go to your teacher and hit her with a DX cross chop and shit. You'd be like, suck it! You're like, all right, you got fucking 4 days detention, motherfucker's worth it because I told her to suck it.
What were the matches? And this had to be in the late '80s, early '90s, where there was just a shit ton of people in the ring. Was that
War Games or the Royal Rumble? That's
Royal
my favorite
Rumble.
one.
Yeah.
That's my favorite one
Now,
out of all of them.
maybe I'm misremembering this, but couldn't you go to like Blockbuster and rent the tape?
That's what we used to do.
would do. Yeah, my friends were really into it, so I watched those. I just never knew any of them because I had my Easy Bake Oven in the corner. But yeah,
I was making them cookies while they were renting these videos.
had on my,
chocolate chip or peanut butter.
why is he dressed like a French maid? This is the weirdest sleepover ever.
Bro, that's what I used to do with my friends, though. You'd trade tapes, be like, oh, I got this one, I got this one, I got this. That's so you'd find out about, like, all these crazy matches that would go on. And me and my brother, I remember one night we were staying up. It's like 2:30 in the fucking morning, and all of a sudden, this wrestling shit comes on. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And it's on Madison Square Garden, the channel, because in New York, that's a channel. It's ECW. First time I saw it, and I'm
that's
like,
right.
And I'm like, what is this? And dude, they're just beating
Because it was way more extreme.
So it was only allowed on at like 2:30 in the goddamn morning, you know, when all the drug addicts are still up and
wanting to see violence.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Do you remember we talked about it last week because fucking Joseph did an episode on the Juggalos.
The insane clown posse.
Right.
You know?
But do you remember the Japanese matches, the Japanese death matches?
Or yeah, that's what it's called.
And I feel like
Cactus Jack was in them.
Right.
And
Cactus
Terry
Jack.
Funk. Yeah.
Yep. And didn't Rowdy Piper fight over there a little bit?
Yeah, but I don't think he was involved in that death match scene. He was more in like New Japan Pro Wrestling and things like that.
But I feel like the ICP used to dub over as commentators. Have you ever seen those?
ECW? They
No,
had
no,
their
the Japanese matches.
No.
That's
fucking
fucking
cool.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you know Elon Musk is a self-admitted juggalo?
Oh my god, I did not know that. That's
I didn't
find that
believe it.
interesting. Yeah.
Joseph told me that, and I'm like, I don't believe you. I gotta look this shit up. But
Sources.
he totally fucking is.
Yeah, what's your source?
Elon was the source on this one.
Okay,
Yeah, dude. If anybody told me that, I wouldn't have believed. It just is a weird fucking thing. But then again, he's a weird goddamn guy.
Oh yeah. I told Morgan, I was like, I listen to a lot of the Joe Rogan podcasts, but his I just can't. You get like
the
5
one with
minutes
Elon
in,
Musk on
he's
it?
just his.
Or he
I don't know
smoked
what
some
it-
weed?
Yeah, well, you know, I'm not really. I can't even get to that part. Like, it's just the way he talks and his demeanor and everything just freaks me the fuck out, man.
Yeah.
I don't know what his deal is. He's
He's
gonna
not a
change the fucking world, but like, I'm not gonna watch it.
I watched when the Cybertruck came out, and that's about the only thing I've watched of him thoroughly. Because you're right, he's got
just
weird
awkward.
pauses in
Yeah,
his
yeah.
words. I
That's
think
how
he's
I feel
South
about Bill
African.
Gates. I watched Bill Gates do a speech. He was doing a TED Talk or something, and it sounded like the most uneducated piece of shit I've ever heard a billionaire do, you know? And then I found out he is uneducated, actually.
Oh, what's the creepy Facebook guy? Why are all of them so creepy? Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah, Zuckerberg.
He was the Mark Zuckerberg.
They are
of
all
his time.
creepy, yeah.
It's
And
the
I know,
autism.
well,
That guy's a fucking robot. I don't care what you tell me.
Bill
He's
Gates,
an android.
Bill Gates really honed in on the making something and then
Steve Jobs was-
creating a virus and then creating the cure for it.
Yes, thank you for gathering. We wanted to confirm the rumors that Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, and Bill Gates have filed a joint lawsuit against Chaptalion and this guy. Thank you for your support, and that's all we have to discuss for the time being.
I had to throw it in.
Dude, have y'all ever
Just in case you didn't know.
have y'all ever heard about the guy that I think I've mentioned this before that did the McAfee software? He like owns that. I think it's McAfee. He was like accused of murdering somebody. Like he bought this property in another country, I think in Central America, and like basically made this like paradise for himself. But that dude, I don't know his name. Y'all should look into it if you haven't heard of it.
So he owns an island. I've heard that before. I don't know where.
Yeah.
So I have, bringing us back around to wrestling, I have a, no? Okay, I'm sorry.
No, go back to the island.
We're doing this
So
now.
I had a question about the Hart family that I don't know. I want to know your opinion on it because Owen Hart, Bret Hart's brother, died after he left and went to WCW. He died in the ring at a pay-per-view
that's
event.
the dude that fell?
Yeah. What are your thoughts on the WWE, Vince McMahon, anybody like that having anything to do with that?
Was that on purpose? No way.
I like how you thought about it.
Yeah, I had to, but it's like
Because rich people do some fucked up stuff, like buy islands.
But I mean, just think about this at that point. What did he have to gain from that? Nothing really. I mean, he got rid of the guy he wanted to get rid of. He got rid of the contract he wanted to get rid of, and they were already pulling ahead at that.
How did Bret Hart feel about it?
More than anything, obviously mourning his brother, you
Yeah.
know, but I don't think once
That's what
he
I
ever said
remember.
anything about, you know, like they did it on purpose. Now, were they negligent in what happened? Yes. Like that he was even proven in court.
Oh, okay.
I mean, the way they rigged up the system and everything like that. So here's one thing. Any stunt that any wrestler does, like, didn't you guys ever remember where they show Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania coming down like a zip line?
Yep.
I oddly remember that.
Yeah.
Right?
And Sting used to come down out of the rafters.
Exactly.
And shit.
So,
yeah.
and specifically in WWE, if anyone does a stunt like that, Vince actually does it first. And they show him doing it before. So there's a video of Vince going down the zip line before Shawn Michaels.
No shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
And if anything big like coming down from this, Vince would do it.
Yeah.
To say, hey, I'm going to show you how safe it is.
Wow.
So Owen Hart did that stunt plenty of times, but they show on that Dark Side of the Ring episode. Have you seen that one for Owen Hart?
And I haven't watched Owen Hart's. I watched Bret Hart's.
So watch that one because they show how badly they rigged up the system that day.
What is Dark Side of the Ring? What
Okay,
is
so
that?
it's like behind the scenes of
It's
like
on Hulu.
Yeah. Oh, it's
my
So it's like
God.
behind the scenes of like some of the Montreal Screwjob. That's what it's called.
The Macho
Bruiser
Man
Brody.
Randy Savage.
Did you see that one, Bruiser Brody?
I don't know. Was
They-
that the guy in Puerto
they just
Rico?
fucking kill him.
Yeah.
People are just like, I watched him get killed, and like,
And then some people are like, I didn't see anything. That's not what happened. You know, it was.
Yeah. So they do this behind the scenes shit, and they just really say what's going on at that point.
Yeah.
And they show the lawsuit they brought against WWE, and they show. So basically, he was supposed to come down from the ceiling. That was his gimmick. It's supposed to be like a professional crew who sets up the rigging system on how you come down, and they show that like set it up so just negligently and like shitty that the thing popped. He hit the wrong release cable, and the reason he died was actually because he hit the turnbuckle and his head snapped back so quick.
Oh shit!
And this is like during a live pay-per-view.
Yep.
Yeah. So thousands of people watch this thing.
In person.
In
but
person.
then millions of people watched
No, so that's the thing. They were airing a promo while this happened.
Oh.
So no one ever saw it on television.
Okay.
I just remember watching it and being like, something is wrong here. You know how you could tell when something bad's happened and people just
Yeah, people in the
and
audience,
like
yeah.
Jerry on there. So Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler's face, pale white.
Wow.
And they're like, something happened in the ring, and like Owen Hart is dead. But we're gonna keep doing the program, so
Yeah,
it's like-
guys, I think the audience is a little bummed. Let's pull out the T-shirt
Let's
gun.
bring out the divas.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Lita?
What are you doing back there? I'm bringing a little.
Where's Trish?
Yeah. It's fucking crazy. It's fucking
Fuck,
crazy.
man.
Yeah, the guy fucking dies. So they asked Bret Hart, like, don't you think your brother should be in the Hall of Fame? And he's like, yeah, but his wife brought up the lawsuit and everything like that. Won't let it happen. She's like, I won't let them ever make another cent off of my husband's name.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
It's
Wow.
And
understandable.
which, yeah, it's totally understandable. Yeah, it's not only that. So remember the Hart Foundation? Jim Neidhart, Brian Pillman, the British Bulldog, Owen Hart. All those guys are dead except him.
Oh, damn.
And so it's like, yeah, these dudes were fucking around with drugs and steroids and all this
Yeah.
shit back then. I mean, most of these guys just fucking die. I
No
mean,
shit.
you're on the road 300 days a year. What else are you going to do but drink and do drugs and get fucked
Yeah.
up?
Plus the fame, and they're like most of them are pretty physically fit. if not all.
Yeah.
There's got to be a fat wrestler somewhere, right?
Oh, they're there.
Oh, they're there.
Those Japanese guys. Yeah.
Yeah, Yokozuna. Remember him?
yeah.
Yeah.
Some of the Samoan dudes probably too.
Yeah. Those guys definitely too. Remember fucking Rikishi?
Oh God, yeah.
Fucking shove his butt cheeks in your face.
I'm not trying to fat shame. I'm fat, so I can call people fat.
Oh, so he can say it.
Oh, it's one of those. It's one of those words.
One of those things.
I identify as fat, so
Oh, whether I want to or not. it's kind of funny. We got two guys here who are not white who get labeled as white guys
All the time.
because you get labeled that whether you want to or not.
It's hilarious.
Yep.
Give a shit. I get the best of both worlds, correct? Yeah, I'd be like, I could pretend to be the white guy if that's what you want me to be. And then when, someone starts pulling out the race card, I'm like, well, my parents are from a third world country, so kiss my motherfucking ass, yo. Like, who the fuck do you think you are, yo?
yeah.
Did you get your white privilege card?
No, that's one thing I did not receive in the mail.
Did I send you guys a picture of that?
You
shit?
did.
It's a white privilege card. It looks like a credit card, and it says on it.
You're telling a serious thing right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a product they sell or something.
Yeah, they're selling it, and people will buy it as like a novelty. It's fucking fucked up, man. I'm
It's
like,
kinda messed
like
up.
it says white privilege trumps everything or something, and then the numbers on it, like the credit card numbers, are 45, 45, 45, 45.
Oh,
like
fuck.
Donald
I didn't
Trump.
notice that.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I was like, what the fuck is this? I said, this isn't real. So I click on it and I go, and they have a site where they sell that. And then it goes into this description of how anytime you're, running into trouble, just flash this card and they can swipe it and you're out of everything. And I'm like, great. Now I clicked on it. So now they're going to send me more of this shit.
Exactly, yeah.
I saw a news story where this black kid was selling this permission slip to say the N-word, and they were buying it.
Oh, my God.
Oh, God.
That is fucked up, but funny.
Yeah, it's funny because
I
it
think
won't
it's hilarious,
work.
yeah.
No,
Yeah, no, you get smacked the fuck up for that.
But that's exactly what Tyler and fucking
I like it when people are like, "Ooh, okay."
Tyler and Connor. How about
Oh,
that?
sorry.
There we go. That's exactly the type of shit they want to buy. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
I'm so sorry.
No, I'm sorry.
Are we both sorry?
I think I'm sorry, too.
Well, people are like, "Oh, I should be able to say it," and some dude's like, "Okay, say it."
Depending what neighborhood you're in, you may not make it out of there alive.
my ninja.
Don't use the hard R either, because you can get fucked up.
When I sing DMX, I replace that word with Legos.
He listens to it when he's cooking on his easy bake oven.
Easy bake oven and DMX.
Some Legos that you don't want to try.
Oh God. See, beats a dead horse. See,
Yeah.
Joseph, it's not just you.
Someone new is in the room. Dude, every new
that
person
gets the
who
material.
enters my house and says, "Can I use the bathroom?" I say yes, but don't pee on the camera.
I have noticed.
been
You've said
100%.
that to every female I've ever brought over there.
I say it to males
No
too.
fucking way.
Yeah. They catch it because when you say something like that,
Oh my God. You
they
see the
automatically
reaction,
they automatically go okay, and then like,
Wait, what?
What?
Yeah. Yeah, because he says it so nonchalant.
The delayed-
Like, hey, where's your bathroom? It's right there on the left. Don't pee on the camera.
The delayed reaction.
Yeah.
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 I do. I beat a dead horse with comedy. If someone laughs at it, it's like I eat it up.
This is the only thing people will laugh at.
Yeah.
I must repeat it constantly.
Yeah. I did a stand up that way where I just told the same joke over and over again. It didn't go well.
Yeah.
God, why did that make me think of? Do you know the way to find out how if there's a two-way mirror in the room?
No.
Shut off the lights.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because he's talking about like perverted shit, and I'm thinking about like fucking someone setting that up. Apparently, like
All you see is
Yeah.
my face plastered behind the mirror.
what the fuck is that? Yeah.
I told you not to pee on the camera.
So there's a lady that does like a tutorial about how to guard yourself when you go to a hotel. She's like, okay, number one, what you're going to do is you're going to go in the room, and this is how you really lock the door. You put a chair right here, and this will keep you safe if you're in a different country and you're worried about getting attacked. She's like, number two, she shows the mirror thing. I'm like, what the fuck?
I get hung up on we all know that we're all being surveilled 100% of the time. What's it matter if some dude down the street or in the next room can see me jacking it because somebody's already watching me jack it? You know, we don't have privacy really anymore.
I kind of expect to have privacy in hotel rooms. Maybe I'm delusional,
But you don't, because you got your cell phone, you got your smartphone with you. You're being monitored.
They might hear the noise, but it's on the table pointed up most of the time. I'm not like carrying my camera around while I'm banging my wife.
But somebody's witness to it.
I mean, I carry Morgan's camera around because he's got a weird kink, but not my camera.
Is it weird?
Did you see the one? It might have been on Hulu, where a guy owned a hotel in the U.S.
I know exactly what you're going to
and was supposedly spying on people the whole time. There was like areas behind the walls he could walk through. There was like places above the ceiling, and they had these extensive interviews with him where he talked about like all the fucked up shit he saw, like murders and shit. Yeah.
Holy shit.
I can't think of the name of the documentary, but it was disturbing.
Well, I saw something like that where this girl is talking. She's like, something was weird about the mirror at the place she was staying.
Yeah.
And it's, one of the medicine cabinet mirrors where it's like first the mirror and then you can open it and store stuff. She's like, but she felt like a draft coming from behind it. She opens the thing and it goes to like an entirely different part. Like you can climb through it.
Holy shit.
So then she finds out about this lady who was staying there. Just randomly disappeared.
Oh, God.
The guy, like, came in through the fucking mirror, got her, took her back through there, and killed her. And it's like, what the fuck, man?
Wow, that's kind of interesting.
That's some creepy shit.
Because mirrors are, like, supposed to be like a portal for demons
if you
stuff.
think about it, yeah.
You're really tickling
Poltergeist.
I know. It's like...
So, in a way, it's a portal for a demon.
Yeah. Layers.
Dude, I used to watch... WWF, I guess, because most of the stuff you were talking about is like after I quit watching wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite parts were not really the wrestling, but the rants before they do a match or after they do a match.
Yeah, the promo.
And then the Roddy Piper had like a talk show where he would like
Piper's
beat somebody's ass every episode.
Beat up, what was it, Morton Downey Jr.?
Yeah,
back in the day, the guy would smoke cigarettes and he had his own talk show and shit.
Yeah, like whoever was on, he would just fucking beat him down.
Yeah, he hit Jimmy Snuka with a coconut in the head. That's like the claim. That's the claim to fame right there.
Oh man, we've got to come correct with the commercial for this episode. This has a great potential for a commercial.
Do you have any matches coming up or anything?
I won the silver medal. I made it to the finals. So I made it to the finals.
That was a big one.
Yeah, 3 weeks ago. Was it 3? About 2-3 weeks ago. Yeah, I made it to the finals in that tournament.
What kind of
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I made it to the finals, and this is gonna sound terrible, but so I fought this guy, and he catches me in an armbar, and I'm like, okay, I know I could get out of this, but like if he cranks this shit, he could break my fucking arm. I have to go to work Monday.
You could go to work with a broken arm.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just like, oh man, I can't even take a chance in this because it's like when you're in the gym with that's why I tapped out, and I regretted it afterwards. So when I'm in the gym, I know these guys; they're not gonna break my arm. This motherfucker, I don't know him,
right?
But yeah, so my next one is June 13th in Atlanta.
When are they gonna start letting people come?
June 13th in Atlanta.
I don't know. Hey,
does that change the dynamic? Like not having people in the audience watching?
No, because you're allowed to have your teammates if they're competing and your coach. Like, okay, so
you have an audience.
Here you go. I'll tell you a fucking good story right here. So I get to the place and it's in Charleston, and my coach just literally won the gold medal.
With a broken freaking neck?
Yeah, oh my God, I wish I could tell that story. That'd be fucking amazing. So he comes up to me and he's like, hermano, that dude you're going to fight, that's from our rival gym. I don't like his coach. You have to kill that motherfucker. First match.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, well, that's great. I mean, thank you for putting that enormous amount of pressure on me. And he's like, and if you don't kill him, you can't come back to the fucking gym.
He wasn't joking.
He was not joking. So this is my first, this is my first major tournament and shit. And I'm like, what the fuck? So we get to this match, right? They get you in this little like area. They weigh you in and shit like that right before. And I turn, I look to my left, and there's my coach again. He's like, "What did I tell you?" Just staring at me. He's like, "You better kill this motherfucker." I'm like, "I get it. I got to kill him. I'm good." And then I turn on, look again, and there he is again. I'm just like, I know. I got to kill him, right? Yeah. And then I see the kid who I'm going to fight. He looks really nervous. I was like, perfect. And then we're like 5 minutes before we start, and they're like saying his name. And then they're like, "Dude, you didn't even weigh in yet." And I'm like, done. Right there, I knew that he was so nervous that he forgot to weigh in. So I get in the match, and we start it, and then my coach is like right there screaming, top of his fucking lungs. He's like, "Take him out, come on, Laffit, blah, blah, blah." And I finished him in like a minute and a half.
Nice.
Finished with the old dick twist.
That's exactly what it was. Someone from the crowd yelled it out, and I performed it, and that was it. He finished him.
I gotta do it now, dude. I'm sorry. They asked.
I actually predicted the move I would finish him with.
Oh shit, that's nice.
And I did it like 2 weeks before that.
Which
It's called
one
an
was
Ezekiel choke, all right? So basically, like the blade of my hand goes right into his neck.
Oh,
So
nice.
it's like a vice.
Hell yeah.
When you hear someone going, it's
Yeah.
fucking over. Nice kid.
Nice.
I felt bad for him afterwards because he was coughing like crazy, dude. I mean, because I
know,
put every bit of energy I had into that one move because I was like, "You're fucking going to sleep. I don't care what I have to do." And then I did the ill shit afterwards. He tapped out, and then I just looked at my coach, and I was like, "Yeah."
Nice.
And that was called the Ezekiel.
Ezekiel choke. Yep, and I do it on a consistent basis at the gym all the time. So
You're always
Yeah.
fucking them up.
yeah. So it was cool. I made it to finals, lost my arm bar because I care about work.
You care about your arm. All right. You got a match coming up, Morgan?
Okay.
Eric,
All right. Calm
Eric, you got a
down.
match coming up?
Dude, they would look at me and I'd be like, "My back.
Yeah, that's what I do.
I can't work for a year."
My back hurts right now. I'm not doing anything.
It's over.
I might have a match coming up. There won't be refs. Sorry.
Oh,
That's random. And that's our show.
all right.
Thanks for
Maybe we
stopping
should talk
by.
about this later after the show.
Yeah.
I want to go so I can hang out in the back and yell, "Give him the old dick twist."
You're gonna put him in the Boston Crab? It does hurt. Trust me.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's our show.
Yeah.
Finish it.
Feel pretty good about what we accomplished here today.
Yeah, it was good. It was interesting.
Hell yeah.
Now I'm gonna go home and hit the razor's edge on some random kid in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
Okay. So have a good evening.
Have a good morning.
Or whatever time of day you're listening to this garbage.
You might be in Pacific time, which is 3 hours behind. Thank you very much, guys, for listening.
And thanks, Laffit, for being here.
Oh, yeah. It was a pleasure.